Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and this upcoming weekend is the start of the Treasure Cup events here in North America. We have the Niagara Falls event, but more specifically the Long Beach event that I will also be in attendance for, but I won't be playing in this event. I will be doing the live streaming for it on my Twitch channel with Brian from Stage Zero. So if you guys haven't followed me on Twitch, I'd greatly appreciate it. We do a lot of card game content, including One Piece, and we do pack giveaways. It's really worth it, I promise you. It really is, and you'll get notified when we go live on Saturday as well. And then also, if you guys aren't subscribed to me here, I know there's a lot of new people with One Piece. I would greatly appreciate that too. We're trying to get to 10K by the end of February, and I'd really be happy if we hit that mark. So anyways, since we won't be playing at the event, I have been playing a lot of set 1 in the last couple months, and I wanted to share pretty much all the deck lists that I've been working on. So if anyone has any questions and just what they want to play, and just kind of bounce ideas off in general. So they're pretty much ranked from my least comfortable to most comfortable, but I think it's pretty clear that the best 4 leaders are Kaido, Eustass Kid, Trafalgar Law, and Zoro or Luffy, depending on who you are. I'm saying they're the same. They're pretty similar in a lot of ways, and they're pretty sometimes interchangeable. So but yeah, we're going to go over each one of these deck lists that I have for you guys today. And if you guys have any opinions on it, I'd love to talk about it in the comments. And but I pretty much expect all of these to win every Treasure Cup. At least one of these 4 leaders to win every Treasure Cup for the next month. And I don't think that's too ridiculous of a claim, but let's kind of get on into it. So we have the Kaido leader to start, and I really like Kaido in a lot of ways, but sometimes it really frustrates me to play as Kaido. Sometimes you just have a really bricky hand. Obviously, you're really kind of tethered to finding Onigashima on curve sometimes, but sometimes too, you just feel like you win and your opponent can't do anything the entire game. So it's kind of that duality. Someone's going to get lucky enough to find enough pieces and be very solid throughout the day, but man, it's not going to be me. I know it wouldn't be me anytime, so I wouldn't put my hands on the wheel for Kaido a lot of the time. But my build that I've been working on, that I've been having a lot of success with, is this one here. So some choices that I've been making. I think the 7-drop King is great. I think we're seeing a lot of decks that just kind of go wide early, including Trafalgar Law. This is the way you win the matchup a lot of the times, which is very strong. We're only running 2 of the 6-drop Kings, mostly to kind of balance out the 7-drops. And I just feel like so many times when you have both of these guys out, you don't have a lot of your you just have them stuck in hand, right? And we're playing Who's It's just a tinier version of King 2. It pretty much is. It gets to pop something 3 or less, and that's kind of good, and it completely triggered off that. So that's kind of why we're playing Who's Who and only 2 of this King. I know this is not a lot, and you guys can tell me that I'm wrong for this, but I'm also running the 6-drop Queen, and when this card first came out, I thought this was bad, but as I've been using it more and more, it's been really, really solid in a lot of ways. Generically, it can just be a king on turn 6-2, where it just has to, it can swing into something if something minus 2k. So having a 7k swing on a body can be good for removal. Obviously, it has to be, rested, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. And then also it has a counter, which is the big thing. There's also a lot of ways, sometimes at the end of the game to clean it out, you just need one more attack, right? You can do an attack and then you can do the -7 and win the game there. And you just need it, right? You don't really need that many, you don't really need that much Dawn. Your opponent has nothing in hand or something. You can just Queen, swing in, Dawn -7, and then just swing with something else and win the game. So I find it sometimes a good closer when you need that extra resource as well. So that's why I've been using it. And again, 1k counter, you're never super dead in hand. 10-drop Kaido, we're running 3. I hate seeing more than one of this card, but sometimes you just play it and it wins you the game too. So that's pretty good. So we're running that. Babanuki as a 1k counter, and just a backup turn 3 play is fine. I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Trying to just max out on our 2k counters and 2-drop blockers. I've tried the other blockers, but just the 2-drop ones are just better. Even if they're very easy to remove or get bypassed by other decks, I think they're still kind of the way. And the 9-drop Kaido is just waning on, it's just waning over the last couple weeks. It's good, but sometimes he's just really expensive for what he is, and it sets you back. And if you're spending 9 Dawn, 10 Dawn on your 10 Dawn turn, sometimes you just need to play this guy instead. So I don't know. I think Kaido is a good deck. I think people are going to do well with it. I just know it wouldn't be me at this kind of event. So that is the list for me there. Next up is the Eustass Kid list, and I don't really like the playstyle for him, but you have to respect how much damage, how much pressure a deck like this can do a lot of the time. And there's no way that Kid doesn't get any tops this weekend either. So many people were playing it. I would say it's probably one of the cheapest decks right now, especially this build too, because I'm not running Trafalgar Law in this one specifically because I just didn't find a lot of value from it. Like, I'll be honest, I played it a while. I started at 4, then I moved down to 2, and then just took it out, and I didn't feel like I was missing anything. Sure, a blocker is fine, but the fact that there's not a lot of stuff you want to, would want to reset in a deck like this. Like, sometimes it'd be like a Bonnie or a Momo, but honestly, if you're just playing 6 to reset a Bonnie and like play the Law, like I feel like there's sometimes better things to do late game than to kind of do that. So I just never found the strict value from it. I always felt like it was dead in hand, and there are almost like just better ways to use my Dawn or make plays without it. So I just took it out, and I haven't had any regrets yet either. So traditionally too, we're just trying to run as many 2K counters as well. We did kind of decide to run some Paradise Waterfalls. I think this is just good as a 2 of. There are some reasons to run it, and I think that the fact that you can KO something on the trigger is good too. So it's just like a good card. In general, like if you want to play really aggressive with this deck, you want to make plays that just always like use all of your Dawn, so which is kind of easy with this sometimes. So there's that. I put back in 2 of the 7-drop Star Deck kits. They're fine. They're pretty good, especially if I took Trafalgar Law out and I wasn't missing them. These are good in a lot of ways. And the thing is, like, sure, like Trafalgar Law is 6 and this is 7, so Law is cheaper, but if you have 6 open, you normally have 7 open, and this is usually just the better play between the 2 of them anyways, and it's just a stronger card. The fact that it can attack and then it can be a blocker and just do everything you need, and a 7K blocker, I think is handy for you there. So there's that, and then obviously we run the 8-drop. We bumped it down to 3 because Bonnie is really good at finding it, and that's pretty much like the card we're looking for in the deck anyways. And then just a bunch of like Wano stuff as well, just to get the more card draw and just removal too. So Raizo is really great if you set it up. Okiku is a great turn 2 play if you're going first. And just everything else in this deck just generates a whole bunch of value and lets you get, later into the game to where you can start to really abuse your leader effect as well. So I don't think we need much more explanation on Kid. I think you guys have your own opinions on this deck, but here's the one that I've been playing. It's been solid, and I've been really enjoying it. Basil Hawkins also. I think it's a mistake for any Kid deck to not run at least 2 of it. It sometimes just wins matchups on board states, and it's very, very strong. So anyways, that is my Kid list. And then next up we have my Trafalgar Law list. This is very, very experimental, but it's newer. It's a newer build for me, but I've been really enjoying it. You have to play very specifically, and I've said this many, many times. Trafalgar Law is one of my favorite leaders just because it's very tricky to find 2 people independently finding and using the exact same build. Everyone's going to have their own ratios, their own tweaks, and just everything else for it. And this one's been really fun. It's been really great at what it does. This is more of a kind of mid-range, more like a control variant of the list, which is I think they're trying kind of traditional lists for this are more combo based. And so this is how I play the deck, and this is how I find success with it. And I want to say that because I could see like people having a lot of questions right out the gate. For example, only having 2 Zoros, only having 2 Luffys, and there are reasons for it. So in general, this deck doesn't want to do the, I'd say, traditional gameplay of just like vomiting as many cards early and trying to get the first kind of shambles effect from your Law. You are kind of being a little bit slower on the roll. You kind of want to go second. It's up to you. I haven't decided if going first or second is better in this list. I think going second and getting the extra draw is a little bit stronger in by and large. But if you want to go first and be greedy, it's the same pretty much either way. It's also matchup dependent. If you're playing against red, you want to go first more times than not, because if they drop a Nico Robin before you drop your own, you probably lose, which kind of stinks out the gate. And then against green, again, you probably want to go first. Yeah, you probably want to go first against green too. So, but everything else, I don't know. I'm still figuring out. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that, like turn 1, you just play a 1-drop if you want to. You can just be a blocker or a Nami. I would not use a Bonnie or a Momo. Nami, like if you, I probably play a Nami turn 1, but you got to be careful with these. If you can recycle these, that's where you get pretty much your wins in this deck. And then turn 2, you want to drop a 3-drop. Okiku and Nico are the 2 good ones to drop. Zoro, if you're desperate for it, because just to use your Dawn as much as you can. And if you do play your Zoro, do not swing with it unless there's just something extra tasty with this. You also don't swing at your opponent's leader very often either. You kind of want to just wait them out until you can start affording to give them cards, because you are trying to choke them out of resources, and by doing that, by not giving them draw from their life, and also being able to destroy and get rid of a bunch of cards on the board as well. So that's the idea. And then on your third turn, you can kind of establish the board a little bit more. If you're feeling kind of gutsy, usually like a Cat Viper is good there, and then maybe like a Nico Robin, another EQQ, like either one of these is great here. Like even just hard casting a Trafalgar Law to say, okay, you know what, I swung with Nico Robin, I'm going to Trafalgar Law, bounce it back, and then play it again, and then just hang out. And then from there, you can just vomit your hand and then play everything. You have a bunch of 1-drops in this build specifically, and then get the recursion and just everything else with it. So that's the idea. And then also Eustass Kid is just a mean bully in this deck too, for pretty much anything that's not red. Red has a lot of ways to get rid of this, including the Luffy rush card and the like jet pistol with Otama. Something like that would be able to get rid of this Eustass Kid. But besides that, a lot of other decks would have a lot of hard time getting rid of this, specifically with all the blockers that you have with the Laws, with the Choppers, with the Beige, and just everything else. So this is a pretty tight list. We probably, we had to cut a lot of, I'd say, other cards that a lot of people find staples. Like we're not playing like the 2-drop blocker killer, which I think a lot of people play, but honestly that card doesn't generate a lot of value in my mind. Like it gets you 1 card draw for 2, but like that doesn't really do anything. You have to get rid of the body, which means that like that could just prevent you from having what you need. And I don't know, I could probably talk about this deck for a lot more if I wanted to, but I really enjoy playing it. I played it on my stream too. I have a link to my most recent one in the description. If you haven't checked it out, do so. And if you guys want me to re-upload it here on YouTube as well, just leave me a comment and I'll try to do that as well. Finally, we do have my Luffy list. It is what I've been playing the most. I really, really believe in Luffy right now. This is probably the most changes, and like the last week, I probably had the most changes since pretty much conception of this deck, and mostly some influences from some top placings and just some other experiences with it as well. I did take this list to Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas this past weekend. I went 3-1 at a locals, and I promise, like, the reason I lost was because I just was dumb and I didn't play around a Gum Gum Jet Hawk when they had 2 Dawn up. It was Zoro. Who plays Gum Gum Red Hawk and Zoro? Most people do. I've learned that today. So anyways, the kind of changes that I've been making in this build is that I think, one, I didn't have this card, so I have it now. But the Monkey D. Luffy, Dawn times 2 your turn, this gives plus 2k power, but also it's just a plus 2k counter, which is great. And sometimes it's just a good card to just play on the board, and then it's a 7k swing for free, pretty much in this leader. So it puts a lot of pressure on. It's a Straw Hat, which is great. There's just like, it used to be Brooks. Brooks was like never finding me value, so this Luffy was just better at that, and it's been really, really helpful. So that's one add I've been doing. I also added my own Red Hawk. This can just win you the game in your life sometimes, but also having the potential for some board removal as well. And even like mid-late games, sometimes I just find like I have too much Dawn because I've been able to recycle it efficiently with my Luffys and kind of go from there. So it's not a big issue leaving 2 Dawn open, and then you get to really get the benefits from it. So I think more and more people are on the Red Hawk game recently, and so it's something you also have to play around if you have something that can get KO'd and they have 2 Dawn up, so be kind of wary of that. Jambe, one of, is fine. We are running 4 of the 5-drop Luffys, which is pretty much our best game winner. It's so good in this deck. It just wins you games all the time. And then I'm finally on the Ben Beckman train. I know a lot of people have been on it. Something I learned that I should have probably already learned is that there's the red cards. There's not a 5-drop vanilla in this deck. There in the game there is going to be this King Dew here in what set 2, and I probably would put him in with the idea that our ideal curve. I guess I already put him in. There he is. The ideal curve for this deck is that you go first, you play a 1-drop Nami or Chopper if you have it. Turn 3, you play Nico Robin. Turn 2 with 3 Dawn, and then turn 3 with 5 Dawn. You play the vanilla, and then you can use the effect on Nico Robin, and then you get to pop something easy, which you can also do with like Trafalgar Law is also a great play there too. But like both of these effects, being able to play Nico Robin and then play a 5-drop 7 and also get rid of something of theirs tiny is a very, very big tempo swing and sets you up for kind of really good early game success in my mind. So that is something I've been looking in the horizon, but that's like a month away. We're talking about Treasure Cup, so Ben Beckman still, if you just need to play a big boy and get a lot of value with it, which sometimes you just need to in this deck. Shanks is obviously the better card if you see it on curve, but sometimes you don't see Shanks, and sometimes you need a 1K counter, so I've been enjoying Ben Beckman as well. So he's on 2. I'm on the train. Took me a while, but I'm here. So those are 4 decks for you guys. Let me know what you guys think about them. I'm more obviously inclined for the Trafalgar Law and Luffy list. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know I love this Luffy list. And those 2 are probably more to my playstyle. The only reason I wouldn't play Trafalgar Law is because I am a stupid man at times, and so I can't play 8 rounds perfectly with Trafalgar Law. Half the time I'll probably just put 5 life down and just lose on the spot. So that is probably like the only reason I wouldn't play Trafalgar Law is because I'm just stupid at times. But the Luffy, I think, is a good deck for someone like me. You do get a lot of choices, a lot of chances to play around, and a lot of interaction right now, which is really cool, because when you originally see this list, and whenever I originally saw Luffy as a leader, I thought he was like a really hyper aggression, not as much of a Zoro, but aggressive list. But with the Dawn recycling and everything else, I do like the changes to make him more of this like mid-range, like interactable deck, and it's been a lot of fun. So anyways, that is going to be all of the decks for you guys here today. And again, let me know what you guys think about them. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Twitch, I guess. And make sure to check out the Treasure Cup events. I'll also be dropping the top 16 lists and everything else. You guys know that by now. So look forward to it. But that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.